The Persian Empire is one of the ancient world's most powerful and influential civilizations. It once stood as a beacon of innovation, cultural richness, and military might, stretching from the Indus Valley in the east to the shores of the Mediterranean in the west. At its peak, it dominated the ancient landscape. It was known for its sophisticated government, the royal road connecting its expansive territories, and its tolerance for its diverse subjects. At the core of Persia's history lies a series of epic wars that shaped the trajectory of Western civilization. Keep watching to explore Persia's epic wars and their ancient struggle for supremacy. The Ionian Revolt. At the beginning of Persia's long series of epic wars was the Ionian Revolt, in which the Greeks, living under Persian rule, chafed under the empire's control. The Ionian Greeks lived in Greek city-states that inhabited the central and western coasts of Asia Minor in present-day Turkey. Although they weren't located on the Greek mainland, they were considered Greeks because of their shared culture and language. They originated during the Greek Dark Ages, when Greeks from the mainland migrated to western Asia Minor. In 546 BCE, Cyrus the Great, founder of the Persian Empire, conquered the first Ionian city. Though the Persian Empire was known for its cultural and religious tolerance, it imposed heavy taxes and appointed local Greek rulers or tyrants to govern cities, enforce taxes, and maintain order. This governance fueled resentment among the Ionians, ultimately leading to the Ionian Revolt in 499 BCE under King Darius I. The Greek people, encouraged by democratic ideals from mainland Greece, rose in rebellion with support from Athens and Eretria. King Darius I of Persia, determined to maintain order and authority, launched a campaign to crush the revolt. Despite initial setbacks, the Persian forces decisively defeated the Ionians at the Battle of Lade in 494 BCE. The uprising was suppressed, but it had planted the seeds of enmity between Persia and the Greek city-states, setting the stage for a decades-long war. The First Persian Invasion. With the Ionian Revolt quashed, King Darius turned his attention to punishing Athens and Eretria for their role in the rebellion. In 492 BCE, he sent an expedition under Mardonius to reassert Persian control in Thrace and Macedonia, but a storm destroyed much of the Persian fleet. Undeterred, Darius launched a full-scale invasion in 490 BCE, sending his forces across the Aegean Sea. The Persians captured Eretria and then landed at Marathon, setting the stage for one of history's most famous battles. The Athenians, led by General Miltiades, faced the daunting task of confronting the much larger and better-equipped Persian force. The two forces varied greatly in the kinds of troops that made up their armies. The Persians primarily used long-range archers and cavalry, while the Greek army was comprised mainly of hoplite infantry, recruited from society's wealthy middling ranks, particularly the farmers. They did have cavalry and archers, but the bulk of their army was spearmen who carried spears and round shields and wore breastplates to protect themselves from enemy blows. They were trained to work together, standing in lines to create a square formation called a phalanx. They marched in time, fought in coordination, and were formidable in battle. Despite being outnumbered, the Greeks used hoplite tactics and superior knowledge of the terrain to achieve a stunning victory against the Persians. They waited until the Persian cavalry was temporarily out of the camp, and then, before dawn, they launched their attack on the remaining archers and infantry. While the Persian archers were skilled, they did not penetrate the hoplites' armor. The Greeks' longer spears, heavier swords, tougher armor, and the strength of their phalanx formations earned their victory against the Persians. They repelled the entire First Persian invasion in a single afternoon. The Battle of Marathon halted Persia's advance into Greece and became a symbol of Greek resilience and the effectiveness of the phalanx formation. This battle remains one of history's most celebrated underdog victories. This battle is famous in part because of a popular story. According to legend, an Athenian messenger was sent on a 25-mile journey from Marathon to Athens to announce the Greeks' victory. Upon arriving, he collapsed and died of exhaustion. This tale, even if it is fictional, is the basis for the modern marathon race. Despite the Greeks' incredible victory, the Persian army would be back. They had been forced to flee but would return with a vengeance and an even larger army. The Second Persian Invasion. After Darius I's death, His son Xerxes I ascended the throne and resolved to succeed against the Greeks, unlike his father. In 480 BCE, within a decade of the Battle of Marathon, Xerxes assembled one of the largest armies in the world. He planned to launch a massive invasion by both land and sea, leading his forces through the mountain pass at Thermopylae on the east coast of Greece, while his navy supported the campaign along the coast. This would be the second major invasion of the Greco-Persian Wars. This time, the Spartans joined the fight to defend their homeland. While a primarily Athenian army fought the Battle of Marathon, the Spartans celebrated a religious festival called Carneia in honor of the god Apollo. Spartan law prohibited them from sending troops to war until the full moon passed and the festival ended, so they missed the Battle of Marathon. This was not the case for the battle at Thermopylae. Athens, Sparta, and other Greek city-states, often divided amongst themselves, banded together against the Persians in a rare show of unity. At the narrow pass of Thermopylae, a Greek force led by King Leonidas of Sparta made a heroic stand against the Persian army. Like the Battle of Marathon, this clash is legendary. The Greek army, comprised of several thousand soldiers, held the pass for 2 full days. They may have been able to continue holding their own against the Persians if not for the devastating betrayal by a man named Ephialtes. It is unknown if he betrayed the Greeks out of self-interest or coercion, but no matter his motivation, he did betray them. The Greek traitor informed the Persians of a path that would allow them to sneak around the Greeks and outflank them. King Leonidas managed to send the majority of his troops to safety before the battle. He bravely stayed behind with 300 Spartans and a small contingent of other Greek soldiers, including 1,000 Boeotians, to make one final stand against the Persians. Despite their bravery, each of them lost their life in the battle. It was a crushing defeat for the Greeks, but their sacrifice delayed the Persian advance and inspired further resistance. The surviving men escaped to the Isthmus of Corinth, a narrow land bridge connecting the Peloponnese Peninsula to the rest of Greece, to rejoin the Greek army. They then fought the naval battle of Artemisium. The Greeks were able to hold off the larger Persian fleet, but ended up retreating and regrouping at Salamis. After their brutal defeat at Thermopylae, the Greeks achieved a much-needed victory in the naval battle of Salamis. Athenian general Themistocles devised a brilliant strategy to lure the Persian fleet into the narrow straits of Salamis, where their numbers became a disadvantage. The Greek triremes, swift and maneuverable warships, devastated the Persian navy. The following year, the Greeks defeated the Persian land forces at the Battle of Plataea and the remaining Persian fleet at Mycale. These victories ended Xerxes' ambitions in Greece and marked a turning point in the Greco-Persian Wars, although the conflict was still far from over. The Delian League and continued conflict. After the Battle of Plataea, there were 30 years of sporadic war. Although the significant invasions had ended, hostilities and smaller-scale conflicts between Persia and the Greeks continued. In response to the continued conflict, Athens formed the Delian League, also known as the Athenian League, an alliance of Greek city-states to liberate Ionian cities from Persian control and prevent future invasions. The Delian League possessed 3 explicit objects: obtain revenge against and reparations from the Empire of Persia, liberate all Greeks from Mede domination, and guarantee the continued freedoms of Greek polis or cities. It was led mainly by Athens and comprised of Greek city-states that needed protection from the Persians by Athens' powerful navy. Over the following decades, the League's forces launched numerous campaigns against Persian territories in Asia Minor. The Peace of Callias, reportedly negotiated around 449 BCE, officially ended the Persian Wars. This treaty recognized Greek independence and established boundaries between the two powers. According to ancient records, it was named after one of the Athenian ambassadors who led the peace discussions. However, not all historians agree on whether this treaty actually existed. Among the historians who believe it existed, there is a dispute about the precise terms it included. Regardless of whether the treaty existed, the mid-5th century BCE saw an end to the hostilities between Athens and Persia. No matter how it happened, Persia had to abandon its ambitions of expanding into the Aegean, ending the Greco-Persian War after decades of conflict. The legacy of Persia's epic wars. The Greco-Persian Wars left an undeniable mark on history. For Persia, The wars demonstrated the challenges of governing such a large empire with so many different regions under its power and the difficulties of extending and maintaining control over fiercely independent territories like Greece. After losing the Greco-Persian Wars, the empire's westward expansion into Europe ended. The Great Empire continued to exist for another century before being conquered by Alexander the Great. Despite the end of the empire, their legacy can still be seen in the Middle East and beyond in art, culture, and architecture. For the Greeks, the wars became a defining chapter in their history. They had proved the Greeks' resilience and fortitude in battle. It demonstrated the effectiveness of the Greek phalanx and showcased incredible strategic minds like that of Themistocles, who won the Battle of Salamis with his cunning. They also changed power dynamics in the Mediterranean world, eventually leading to the Peloponnesian Wars between Athens and Sparta, which would further shift the power dynamics of the ancient world. The victories bolstered the Greeks' pride in their country and secured their freedom. The victories against Persia also bolstered the idea of Greek exceptionalism and inspired the thriving culture, art, and intellect of the classical age. The conflicts also showcased the importance of unity, strategy, and resilience in the face of overwhelming odds. While they ended in defeat for the empire, Persia's epic wars are a cornerstone of ancient history. They continue to captivate and inspire modern audiences with their tales of heroism, military strategy, and the eternal struggle for supremacy. How would you like to get a deeper understanding of history, impress your friends, and predict the future more accurately based on past events? If this sounds like something you might be into, then check out the brand new Captivating History Book Club by clicking the first link in the description. To learn more about Persia, its empires, and its epic wars, check out our book, The Persian Empire, a captivating guide to the history of Persia, starting from the ancient Achaemenid, Parthian, and Sasanian empires to the Safavid, Afsharid, and Qajar dynasties. It's available as an ebook, paperback, and audiobook. If you found the video captivating, please hit the like button and subscribe for more videos like this.